This is Jonathan Agov here for Pro Boxing Fans. Delighted to be joined all the way from Maryland in the US by the WBC Featherweight Champion of the World, Gary Russell Jr. We've had some words with Terence Crawford, bit of a back and forth. Can you just explain how this sort of came about?
Well, it came about something that happened several years back. I believe it was several years back. And actually it came out because of a guy named Todd. I forgot his last name. Rest in peace. He passed away. But apparently he wasn't a fan of Terence Crawford. And he was doing an interview and they had asked him, what you think about Terence Crawford and Matisse? And he was like, well, I'm not sold on Terence Crawford. I'm not a big fan of Terence Crawford. He said, I'm not a big fan on Terence Crawford. I can't word him verbatim, but he was like, he's not a fan of Terence Crawford, and I don't want to put all his business out there, but he got into an altercation with another fighter, Mr. Gary Russell Jr., and I think that chin problem will haunt him for the rest of his career. And that was something that kind of came out about four years ago. Of course, I never brought it up. And I did an interview with Barbershop Conversations, and he asked me, he said that it's an old rumor going on. It's a tall tale going on. We would just want to know, was there any truth to it about you breaking Terence Crawford's jaw? And I told him, I said, well, I don't know about that. I don't know about his jaw being broke. So he was like, oh, so it's not true? I'm like, oh, no, he definitely got punched in the fucking face. So that's how the whole story actually transpired and came out to anything. But, I mean, it was something that happened so long ago. It was a long time ago. Now that everybody got wind to it, I mean, I'm a realist and I keep it 100 with the people, with the fans. He asked the question, I answered honestly. I believe that I have a skill set that's second to none. And Terence Crawford, he responded and told his side of the story by saying that I snuck him. I didn't sneak you. We're elite fighters, we're two elite fighters, and you approach me aggressively. In most cases, if someone is in your personal space, if you're not a threat, you should make it clear that you're not a threat. We're two people that are skilled and trained at combat, and you approached me very aggressively, and you was in my space, and I felt as though I needed to defend myself, so he got punched in the fucking face. That's it. That's all. If he feels some type of way about it, I feel as though I have an exceptional skill. I would meet Terence Crawford at 147.
You can make 147?
I mean, I walk around at like 139, 138, something like that. I would meet him at 47. All I have to be, contractably, all I have to be was 141. All I have to be is 141. Put me in a position to do something amazing and watch how I do it. Terence Crawford is not a better fighter than the Mr. Gary Russell Jr. People go off of popularity and not off of skill and talent. Terence Crawford is not a better fighter than Gary Russell Jr. I will fight Terence Crawford at 147, and I will beat that ass.
You've mentioned a lot of names. What is the one standout name for you that you want?
The one standout name that I want? Lomachenko.
Lomachenko rematch.
Lomachenko. I heard his fight fell out with him and Telefimo or something. I would love to slide in there. What's up? I would love to fight Lomachenko. Definitely. That's the fight I want more than any of the fights I've mentioned. I want that fight more than any fight I've mentioned. Not for the fans, not for the media. I mean, we can do some Apollo Creed, Rocky Balboa shit. I don't care. We need to do this. We need to run this shit. We need to run that back. He got a gift, and he know it. He know it. Nobody knew who I can't take away from Lomachenko what he did in the amateurs, but no one knew who Lomachenko was in the professionals until he fought Mr. Gary Russell Jr. Realistically speaking, because he lost to Salido. He lost to Salido. Like, I mean, let's keep it real. So if I was as smart as I would, if I was as smart as I am now, see, here's the thing. Honestly, we was making weight on our own scale, of course. And once we got on the trial scale, the scale that we were making weight on, our whole camp, our whole 6 to 8 weeks camp, I felt good when we got there. I was a pound overweight. A pound isn't nothing for the fans. You can sleep off a pound in your sleep. You know, I wasn't worried about the pound, so I'm a pound overweight. That's not an issue. We got on the actual scale that we were going to weigh in on, and I was 5.5 pounds overweight. That's a lot of fucking weight to take off.
Mm.
And we did it in the sauna. 45 minutes in the sauna, 2 minutes out the sauna. Another 30 minutes in the sauna, 5 minutes out the sauna, dry off, get in a cool shower, dry off, get back in the sauna, another 40 minutes. Get back out the sauna. If I was as smart, and even with that, even after draining my body, it was still a split decision fight. It was a knockdown in the fight that was not called. I knocked you on your ass. I put you on your ass. You know I put you on your ass. It was a knockdown in the fight that wasn't called. At best, the fight was a draw. I still gave him the hottest fight of his career, being completely drained of all the nutrients and energy in my body. Knocked him down. Well, other than the Salido fight, because he lost to Salido. If I was as smart as I was now, I would have just took the fine. I mean, we both was in the position where, as though, it was a possibility for us to get the title. It was my first chance to get a world title. So I was willing to do whatever it took to make it happen. You know, I drained myself of the weight and everything, and it took a toll in the fight. He still didn't run the fuck over me. I don't care what nobody say. He ain't run over me. That wasn't no motherfucker whitewash. He had problems. I'd set him on his ass and everything. But if I was as smart as I was, I would have just took the fine. I would have took the fine. I wouldn't have lost none of the weight. I would have paid the extra money, and we would have fought, and I would have beat his ass. I wouldn't have won the title. Very very similar to what Carl Frampton did. You know, he had the opportunity to fight for the title, but he lost on the scale. I would have pretty much just not made the weight. I wouldn't have lost the weight, competed, and I would have definitely had the energy to perform the way that I wanted to, and I would have beat him, and I wouldn't have had the title. Well, we wouldn't have had the L on my record, you know, but it is what it is. I'm on his ass, though. That's the fight I want more than anybody else.
Just a couple more, Gary, before I let you go. Boxing's returned behind closed doors in the US and in the UK. Obviously, in the UK, Frank Warren's gone behind closed doors at the studio. Eddie Hearn in the Garden. Bob Arum, Top Rank. PBC Al Heyman coming back. What have you made of boxing behind closed doors? Have you been watching it?
I know I definitely have been watching it. I've been watching it because it's I need to give my brain the information. You know, I want to see exactly how they're doing the behind the scenes stuff. Of course, you're gonna have to. A lot of fans. I mean, a lot of people are gonna have to adjust to the being no fans in the arena and stuff like that. But I think they're just taking the proper precautions. A lot of the promoters and stuff, you know, you got to take the proper precautions. It's very serious what's going on out here. I'm not sure, but I think they're taking the proper precautions. They're opening the gates slowly but surely. But when they do open the gates, I'm one of them guys that's gonna be right there waiting. I'm one of them guys that's gonna be right there waiting. I stay in the gym. A lot of these fighters, this boxing for me is a lifestyle. For a lot of these fighters, it's not really a lifestyle. It's something that they do and they pick it up whenever they have a fight coming on. You know, when they got a fight coming up, then they're gonna start getting in the gym and try to focus back in. I'm always in the gym. I'm always training. If I get irritated with my everyday life or something just ain't going quite right, I'm one of those guys that learn how to create balance. When I got some chaos going on in my world, I create balance by doing something of substance. By doing something of substance that's going to balance the chaos that I'm going through or whatever the turmoil that's going on. So In most cases, I go to the gym. I be in the gym by myself, 2 a.m. I'm training. You know, my sons. Sometimes I can finish training or finish working out, and I'll be in the house, and something wasn't just quite right or wasn't quite clicking the way I wanted in the gym, and I'll be in the house full sweat in the mirror, just shadow box for about 30, 40 minutes, full sweat, and by the time I look around, my wife, she's laughing. She's like, "Look, babies, I hired entertainment for you. Here you go, sit down." She's sitting all the children down, and they just watching me shadow box, So
You should do a vlog. You should do a vlog.
I know, right? That's what my wife was telling me. My wife was telling me that, and I'm 100% consumed by what I love and what I do. A lot of these guys not. They pick it up when it's convenient for them, and I think that's what makes the difference. That's why my skill set is where it is. That's why my IQ is the way it is, and I'm naturally an aggressive type of individual. This was a perfect sport and a perfect outlet for me.
Gary, 2 quick fight predictions from you. Gervonta Davis, Leo Santa Cruz, and Luke Campbell, Ryan Garcia, set to be announced soon. What's your thoughts on those 2 fights?
I think Leo Santa Cruz and Gervonta Tank Davis, they both some suckers. I don't care who win, because they should have fought me. They scared. They trying to fight each other to stay away from me. To be honest with you, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think the fact I was definitely leaning all the way to Gervonta Tank Davis on this fight, but the fact that it's at 130, you have to take that into consideration. Gervonta Tank Davis, I think he's irresponsible. He's not responsible as a fighter. I don't think he takes this shit serious enough, because even when he did move up in weight and fought against the Yuriorkis Gamboa at 135, he didn't make the weight. He honestly didn't make the weight at 135. He had a tough time making it at 135. And now he's going to go to 130. I think he's going to really put his body through a lot of strain to get to 130. I think his biggest fight is going to be to make the weight. I think Gervonta's biggest fight would be making weight. I think if Leo can take Gervonta past 5, and after the 5th round starts to apply the pressure that he normally does, keep his hands tight, keep a nice tight defense, and start applying pressure on the second half of the fight, I think his chances definitely go up after that. I still think it's a 50-50 chance. I'll give it to, I say 60-40. I'm still leaning more towards Gervonta. He has a puncher's chance. But if Leo takes him into the second half of the fight, his chances definitely increase. His chances definitely increase. I mean, pay attention to Gervonta. When he fought an old Gamboa, when he fought a 38-year-old Gamboa with a torn Achilles tendon, a torn Achilles heel, after the 5th round, he was only throwing 5 or 6 punches around. Copybox showed that. Copybox number showed he was only throwing 6 punches around after the 5th round, with a 38-year-old fighter with a torn Achilles tendon. You got to factor that shit in too. So I don't know. I still think he has a puncher's chance. 60-40 Gervonta.
And Campbell-Garcia, any thoughts?
Ryan Garcia, Nate Campbell.
Luke Campbell.
What's not Nate Campbell?
Luke Campbell.
Yeah. That one I don't know. I think it's a good test for Ryan. He's young. I scorch his little ass too. He don't want no parts of me neither. I think it's a good little step up, a good little test for Ryan Garcia. I don't know. I'm curious to see. I can't really choose on that one. I say 50-50. I say it's a 50-50. Yeah, I give 50-50. I get that a 50-50. I can't choose nobody on that one.
Okay, well, Gary Russell, thanks for coming on. Appreciate your time. just lastly, you mentioned before we started, you want to come fight in the UK.
Of
Are
course,
we gonna see that before not too long?
man. I would love to. I would love, like I say, I'm one of these type of people that love to broaden my horizon. I'm the type of person that I believe that unity is everything. I think unity is everything, and I'm one of those guys that will love to go out and meet different ethnic groups, to learn about their culture, to learn about them, to give myself as well as my children a better understanding of just life in general. I think all of it is something we should do as people. Unfortunately, everyone don't have the ability to do it as much, but I'm one of those guys that I'm definitely all for it. I'm all for it.
Good stuff.
And
Go on.
and y'all so cool. And every time I've had any type of interactions of anything like that of the people from the ethnic group, man, it's always been love. It's always been fun. It's always been real cool. So man, it's all systems go on my end.
Great stuff. Gary Russell Jr., thanks very much for your time. Wish you all the very best of luck. And hopefully, once the crowds come back, we're going to see you in a massive fight.
Hopefully, man, grace you guys, man, with my presence, man. At some point, I would love to come out there, man, and just to be a part, just to be able to absorb the energy, man. I believe that energy doesn't go anywhere. It's transferable. You
Mm.
know, it only transfers. So whenever I come into contact with someone and I shake someone's hand or I come into someone's bubble, you know, um, we're absorbing and we're transferring energy amongst one another. And I really appreciate it. And we need more of it. We need more of it. I think I'm one of those people, man, that I think that the language barriers and stuff like that are things that's put in place to keep us distant, to keep that wall, that invisible wall. Because there's a lot of cool people, a lot of my sparring partners that I bring down that are from different ethnic groups. And I genuinely be in my feelings that I'm not bilingual or they're not bilingual, so we can communicate in the way that we want to. Because even if you can't communicate with a person verbally, in most cases, the words that we're talking is nothing other than us trying to explain a vibration that we're feeling. Make sense?
Absolutely. Well said. Gary
So
Russell, go on.
yeah, even if we don't even if we can't even talk it and understand it, the vibration is still understood. So I love it. I would definitely love to be a part of it.
Brilliant. Well, Gary, when you get some fight news announced, hopefully we'll catch up again. And yeah, been a pleasure having you on.
Of course, man. Enjoy the rest of your day, man. To
And
the
you.
fans, tune.